If there is no victim in prostitution, why is it illegal? Millions of people have sex every day. However, sex for money is illegal. According to the dictionary, prostitution is the act or practice of engaging in sex, especially for money. One could argue if you're unmarried and you take a date out and buy her dinner, or if you live with someone and you pay all their bills and you continue to have a sexual relationship with them, that you're committing and engaging in prostitution. There are several reasons that prostitution should be legalized in the U.S. It'll lower crime rates, the revenue will stimulate the economy, and it will result in the prostitutes being healthier and their clients healthier as well. Legalizing prostitution takes the religious stigma off of a victimless crime, reduces crimes committed, and reshapes how law enforcement and the local courts budget millions of dollars to the system each year. It'll also create a safer work environment for the prostitutes and their clients, and with the strict testing for sexually transmitted disease, it'll provide for a more healthy society. Today I'll explain how legalized prostitution can help law enforcement reduce crime, stimulate the budget, and keep everybody healthier. Legalizing prostitution greatly would reduce jail and prison population, court costs, the amount of officers on the street and off the street. According to American Affairs website, in America, 80,000 citizens are arrested for prostitution every single year. Law enforcement agencies across the U.S. have to employ officers to go and pursue this victimless crime. If a city has a unit of 50 officers, and each officer has a base salary of $40,000, that unit will cost the city $2 million each year. These officers could be used to patrol areas in high crime areas, gang-related areas, instead of trying to get people that are consenting to have sex to not do so. The legalized prostitution would also allow it to be regulated so it would reduce crimes committed against the prostitute. Each day an offender spends in jail, it costs taxpayers money. They must go to court. The court has to pay bailiffs, judges, and clerks. The cost of police officers, detention, and court employees all fall onto the taxpayers like you and I. If prostitution was legal, then all these costs would be eliminated. So while legalizing prostitution would reduce crime, it would also help balance state and federal budgets. So what would the effects of legal prostitution be on the state and the federal budgets? According to American Affairs website, research indicates that over 1 million women in the United States currently make a living as a full-time illegal prostitute. If we estimated that each prostitute only worked for 15 days a month, charges $200 per encounter, and has a minimum of 5 encounters a day, each prostitute would make $15,000 a month or $180,000 a year. Now when you take that figure and multiply it times the 1 million prostitutes that are estimated to be working in the U.S., you come up with $18 billion or $180 billion revenue that currently is not taxed and not paid into the government. Approximately 1 in every 6 men has obtained the services of a prostitute in the last 5 years, according to the American Affairs website. Legal prostitution would require that prostitutes pay money into the government for those services. This would also prevent prostitutes that are making $15,000 a month that isn't accountable to the government. Right now they can apply for food stamps, they can apply for Medicaid, so now they're getting free food, free medical insurance because they have no income even though they're making over $15,000 a month. So legalizing prostitution would help balance the state and federal governments by forcing the prostitutes to pay taxes. Prostitution would also provide a much safer and healthier industry for the prostitutes and the clients. In countries where prostitution is legal, those in trade undergo regular medical checks and are encouraged to practice in safe sex and are protected from or by the law enforcement from abuse and violence according to the March 2012 Zimbabwe Standard. According to a July 21st, 2012 article in African News, which recommends that lawmakers should pass legislation decriminalizing sex work. Out of 700 illegal prostitutes arrested in Nevada, 10% tested positive for HIV, according to American Affairs website. However, out of 7,000 tests of 246 legal prostitutes, there wasn't one HIV case detected. With the testing of legal prostitutes, all kinds of sexually transmitted diseases could be prevented. Clients that didn't have a sexually transmitted disease could be partnered with prostitutes who didn't have a sexually transmitted disease. If a client had a specific sexually transmitted disease, they could be partnered with a prostitute who had the same sexually transmitted disease. And this would eliminate the fear factor of going somewhere, meeting someone, and having to explain to that person what sexually transmitted disease that you had prior to having a sexual encounter. So it would give everyone, whether you had a sexually transmitted disease or not, a safe way to engage in sexual activity. Reducing crime, balancing the state budgets, and reducing the spread of sexually transmitted disease seems like a small price to pay just to legalize prostitution. Today I've told you the benefits of legalizing prostitution. I discussed how legalizing prostitution could reduce crime. I talked about the benefits of having prostitutes pay taxes, and I also spoke about how legal prostitutes would create a much healthier society. Legal prostitutes can benefit the United States. However, you have to maintain the separation of church and state and the stigma that goes along with the term prostitute. People have consensual sex every single day. You have to have a victim to have a crime. However, by keeping prostitution illegal, the only victims are the honest taxpayers who bear the cost of fighting a crime with no victims.